So simple, so easy, so effective, so over. What up, everybody? I hope you're enjoying your Super Bowl weekend, but more importantly than that, this is the weekend that marks the television debut of Reality of Wrestling. Yeah, either it's Saturday night at 2 a.m. or Sunday morning at 2 a.m. Depends on what type of person you are, but be on the lookout for that. Go to realitywrestling.com for more details. The Cube, its debut, and how fitting that I hyped that up as one of the topics is losing television. But anyway, before I get into that, and what a jam-packed, another like 30 minutes worth of footage, and some alternate commentary also, I'm actually going to start with the Royal Rumble, where this guy, big impact on it. So give you a few thoughts. I was okay with the New Age Outlaws winning the tag team titles from Goldust and Cody. Had no issue with it. Opens the door for other guys. You know, I was always a fan of New Age Outlaws, so I was okay with it. Man, I really enjoyed Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt's match. Awesome match. Almost an instant classic. The finish, man, the storytelling. And this guy is over. I mean, extremely over. And it's... man, it's just a sight to see. I was okay with Brock and Show. Thought that segment really worked to get Brock over, which is what they needed. I lost count of how many chair shots happened. But I always tell guys, like, it's about the segment, not about the match, not about the time, the bell to bell. Sometimes it's about from curtain to curtain. And it was a good story to be told. And Orton Cena, you know, a tough position because of this guy, the popularity of this guy's fans, you know, hijacking the show. But more importantly than that, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, those two guys, the top two guys at this point, and I'm okay with it. Fighting for the title. Now, as far as the Rumble, I mean, you know, if you noticed, only Goldust and Cody were the only two that pulled double duty. Everybody else didn't have a singles match. The Rumble was their main match. I was cool with that. I didn't have any issue with it. I could see Batista going over, and yeah, it's kind of no-brainer, you know, because the way they brought him in, you know, they're really kind of pushing him to the moon. But you know, they kind of did the same thing with The Rock. He did kind of appear winded at the end. He kind of appeared blown up. I mean, that could be just him selling, but you know, I think he was the number 28 entry, and by the end he was really huffing and puffing. But I mean, it is what it is. I felt really bad for Mysterio. I think a lot of people did. I mean, him and Batista. Like, Batista's coming back and wanting to push him as a babyface. I'm cool with that. Mysterio, man, one of the more over guys, but you know, he was in the wrong place, wrong time, because this guy and those chants and, whoo, I mean, people made themselves heard. Just crazy to hear that type of reaction and for it to just continue. Like, I could see it, the displeasure lasting through his entrance, but then as the match continued, you know, people weren't having it. They weren't wanting it. You know, and I liked what they did with Roman Reigns, and you know, obviously a good purposeful push and of a really over group. So, you know, I really enjoyed the story of the Rumbles. I always do. I think they're awesome. I'm just waiting for the year where Kofi like levitates somehow. I don't know how. Like, we're gonna find out that he can actually fly. I think he's just saving it for the right Rumble. Maybe the Rumble that he wins, if that ever happens. But yeah, I can't wait to see when he does. I'm a fan of Bryan. I'll say that. And I like his work. I've always liked his work. Liked his work at TWA when he was wearing a mask and teaming with Spanky. Dug all kind of the evolution of the character, you know, and throughout his career. And I wanted him to be in the Rumble like everybody else, and disappointed that he wasn't in the Rumble. But again, they didn't really advertise him to be in it, and no one else, you know, it'd be different if if Bray had been in it, or if Brock had shown up, or, you know, Cena or something like that. But since none of those guys did, I just couldn't see Daniel Bryan being in it. And even though, and I think they, you know, they did that on purpose, although it kind of backfired because the fans just really want to see Daniel get a rightful opportunity. Which brings me to CM Punk in that situation. And, you know, I don't know nothing. You know, I'm not inside there, so I can't say anything. I can't, you know, you always kind of speculate. I think everyone speculates. I could see it as a calculated move. You know, not happy with the direction that he was going, and in some ways maybe going, well, you know, it's Daniel Bryan's year, and maybe he could see it as a way of getting Daniel that spot. I mean, for Punk, maybe, you know, wrestling Hunter at WrestleMania is just not what he wants to do, or so it opens that door for Daniel to get put into that slot. And I mean, he's already there kind of, and people have wanted to see that, and it could be really a good point for him because he's at that point in his career, like his popularity. Like, I think if he got that, people would be fine, especially if he went over. Or yeah, we'll see what they do, see where they go with it. It's kind of an interesting time. I mean, again, I don't want to speculate. You know, Punk is going to do whatever he wants to do, and you just kind of wish him luck. I mean, I would think he'd come back, but, you know, if he doesn't, man, I mean, more power to him. You know, if he's not enjoying what he's doing, then, you know, he's probably one of those that just doesn't want to be part of something he's not going to enjoy. So yeah. Now, little update, P90X3. Doing well, man. I like the exercises. You know, I did P90X before. I like the fact that this one's 30 minutes. It's a lot different, the second block. I did transition week. Now I'm on the second block. A lot of more weight-intensive stuff, but still using your body weight and whatnot, and gravity. And it's, I could definitely feel improvement, and it's really helping with my balance and whatnot. So, really looking forward to what happens with the rest of Block 2, and I'll keep you guys updated. Now for story time. Oh, it's great. It's great. It's great because, you know, I get feedback from my peers. A lot of guys who I try to tag will message me, let me know what they think of it. I'm always appreciative of any comments or questions or anything like that, and it helps too because, you know, it's just a good way of kind of looking back, and I mean, enough times passed that you're not in it, and you can kind of really try to look at it as objectively as humanly possible. And at the same time, I'm not in it, so I'm got some distance to it. But some good stuff, man. I've had some great conversations, and I mentioned in my last video I didn't have capital punishment footage, and that was really the case. I hadn't seen the match in quite some time. And then my buddy Jamie Aller called, guy who had actually put some stuff together for us, filmed that documentary, and had kind of been a jack of all trades for PCW. Really stepped up in a lot of instances, and just a great videographer in my opinion. You know, really enjoy his work. And he called me up, and we had a pretty good and pretty awesome conversation. And he said he had the footage, and he uploaded it to YouTube. And at this time, I want to show the highlight video, the highlight video for the Capital Punishment 2004 main event, which was myself, Gabe Roach, and Mike Fox for the PCW title. So enjoy.
Do you carry your own cross? Keep it right beside you. You give, but at what cost? Chains of guilt behind you. Climb up on your own cross. Make sure we know how it goes. You're holy and sainted. I could feel so much shame. You've been so crucified. I want to feel your pain. I'm taking your place on this cross under your name. You're holy and sainted. I want to feel your pain.
To the last 3 months I've been a man alone, and now I have a decision, whether to step back into darkness or to walk into the light. You think you've seen violent and capital punishment before? Well, on May 8th, I'm going to show you a whole new level.
Gabe Roach, made him tap. Mike Fox, sexified 1, 2, 3. May 8th, capital punishment. Hell, I won't just be the main event. I'll be the new PCW champion.
You're watching me. You want to know what I'm doing and who I'm wrestling. That's all you care about. You don't care about these other two, Gabe Roach and Steve DeMarco. I've beaten them both. They're irrelevant. I'm the world heavyweight champion.
Wouldn't your life be so plain if you could never complain? And you're holy and tainted. I could feel so much shame. You've been so crucified. I want to feel your pain. I'm taking your place on this walk under your name. You're holy and tainted. I want to feel your pain.
Awesome video. I mean, it still gives me goosebumps. We had such a build, man. You know, and around that time of that build-up, speaking of another peer of mine, I recently had a few conversations with Mike Fox. Some because he likes the videos, and I really appreciate his support on it. But also we get to talk, and I was telling him, hey, I was going to check out the capital punishment video and kind of talk about it in my latest video. And I wanted to get his opinions, kind of his thoughts of the match. And like me, we had such great momentum coming into that. I mean, we just had this really, for me, like an instant classic, one of my top 5 of all time matches in my career. And I mean, we were on a good, crowds were hot and all that, and we were getting to be the main event of the show. We get Gabe, who was storyline-wise, it made sense, and we had all these elements that were seemingly working, building up to it. And around that time, we actually had a sit-down, me and Fox, one of those nights, and we talked and kind of talked at length, and I was really appreciative of that talk. We cleared the air, like, professionally and personally, and got some stuff off our chests, and it was just good, I felt like that was kind of his way of, like, welcoming me to this exclusive club, which, I kind of felt like I wasn't a part of it up until that point. Genocide, I felt like I'd gotten there, but again, feeling like, hey man, welcome to it. Here's the lay of the land, and, really really meant a lot to me, professionally and personally, to have that sit down with him. I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves too. I think at that point Fox was going to ROH and trying to transition. I think he wanted to see if he could do that style, and he definitely had the athleticism to pull it off. So this match kind of followed that. Gabe's coming back, and he had his style that he had wanted to morph into, and my style was kind of a combination of things and more entertainer and so on and so forth. But again, I could go with guys, and we wanted to go out there, and I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves because we wanted to show we could do that style. So yeah, we definitely started out pretty hot.
Without even getting pinned himself.
That's true, Rob Moore. This is a triple threat match. Any pinfall will pick up the victory. And I got to tell you, with so much on the line, that's why you're witnessing these athletes go all out, Rob.
Fantastic arm drag by Mike Fox. Trying to follow up with a clothesline, but look at this, a double shoulder tackle.
Then I got Fox to demark out, and we're going at this fast pace. I mean, it's faster than usual.
I got to tell you, Rob, that's because all of these guys desperately seek to wear that championship belt around their waist, Rob. That is the drive of every professional wrestler. Not only our heavyweights, but our cruiserweights.
Fox was definitely determined to kind of outshine both of us, as all champions do, and as a proud champion as himself, I could see why.
Here comes Fox. Oh my gosh, look at that. And now Fox back into the ring, and a
athleticism of your champion, Rob Moore.
Clotheslining Roach over the top rope and out of the ring, but here comes Steve DeMarco with a kick to the midsection. And now sending him into the corner, and Fox on the top rope. Oh my, right on top of Roach on the floor.
But I wanted to prove that there was no show without me.
What's he gonna do here? Oh my, right on top of both men. They're all out there.
Yeah, nice cross body. Sprung off the top rope, Rob. Now he's gloating in the glory.
We're just going at such a fast pace at that point. I don't think we gave it really a chance for the fans to breathe. We're just going at such a fast pace.
Gluteus Maximus, he can wink at you.
I see. And a flying clothesline off the ropes by DeMarco. Mike Fox still trying to regain his composure and get back into the ring as DeMarco and Roach are in there. And Roach going behind with a waistlock. And now it is Mike Fox driving in a shoulder. And look at this, flipping over both men to get back into the ring. Ducks a clothesline. Oh! Look at that, a backdrop right onto Gabe Roach. And now it is DeMarco with a whip on Fox. Fox ducks an elbow, though. DeMarco coming off the ropes, and DeMarco over the top. Holding on, though. He's going to skin the cat here, and he's got Fox in a head scissors. And Fox goes out of the ring, almost out of the ring, just to the apron, though.
Now, the Brainbuster was quite jolting, but it just really had no time to recover, and I was just going off instinct at that point.
Roach now has DeMarco hooked, going for a high vertical. Oh my God, that was a brainbuster. Brainbuster by Gabe Roach.
You might as well back up DeMarco's.
DeMarco just got the shoulder up in time.
Unbelievable. Hats off, Steve DeMarco. I know I've said some ugly things towards you in the past, but the ability to kick out of that after that vicious brain buster is a credit to your professionalism.
And look at this as Roach pulls back on DeMarco's chin. Fox with a chin lock, and now it looks like a side headlock on Roach, and now DeMarco elbowing his way out of that. Oh, double backdrop on DeMarco. And now Roach belly to back suplex on Fox.
And no one really could gain momentum. No one really could get the upper hand in that match.
And now Roach has him up, but DeMarco gets out. Sexy kick!
Right in the kisser, Rob.
Steve DeMarco very good, well could have dislocated Roach's jaw. Oh, look at this neck breaker by Fox.
Now he took a neck breaker? How can he continue to go on?
I came real close, but Destiny was definitely not on my side on that night.
Trying to handcuff Gabe Roach, and I think he's got it cinched in now. He's got him tied up is what he's got. Gabe Roach is in that corner. Well, Steve DeMarco's on top, but the referee's not over there to count.
Well, then it doesn't count, Rob.
Indeed it doesn't. The referee's got to be there to count it, and the referee's got to get turned around and see what's going on behind him.
Well, this has certainly gotten out of control here, Rob. Gabe Roach tied up in knots.
Oh, he's going for the hot spot.
Give it to him, champ.
Oh my God, right on the chair.
Right on the titanium chair. Mr. Scott in the nick of time pulling it out of the ref's vision.
Eddie Atlas clearing away, and 1, 2, 3.
Man, that match took quite a bit out of me.
What do you think, brother?
A real good show.
Boy, that was exciting.
Yeah.
When I look at the match now, and you look at it years later, I really felt the passion was missing. The work was good. I mean, we all went out there and we worked really hard, and I think from a work rate standpoint, it was there. It was that style. But, I mean, the only drawback to that was you were worried more about the next spot. Like, I wasn't just in the moment. I was thinking about what comes next. Where are we going? You know, because, I mean, that timing and the three styles, we really, hadn't come up with much up until, like, the week of the show. And I just couldn't enjoy the moment. And once I got jolted, man, I just kind of on autopilot. I was just trying to get through it. Truth was, man, I felt like Fox retaining was the right move and the right choice. He was kind of that, I consider him a ring general and a general of the locker room, well respected, and one of the guys that could right the ship. And I think the ship was kind of off. Morale wasn't at an all-time high. Things were kind of chaotic. I didn't realize how chaotic until after. I don't think we knew it was going to be the last show, but we got called to a meeting. Mike Bussey called us to a meeting. Everyone who could make it was there. And Mike proceeded to tell us that we had lost television. He didn't go into much detail about that, and I didn't really question at that point. But it was like a shot to the gut, as he said it. And then, to make matters worse, he said, well, we're just not going to put on any more shows. And it wasn't, and the way he explained it was like, well, it's not like we've ever really lost a whole lot of money, but it's not like we make a big profit. And there's a huge overhead to turn on the lights in this building. And without TV, there's really, what's the point? To get sponsors, we would need the TV deal. And if you take the emotion out, he was right to a degree. I mean, what would be the payoff? If you're a TV product and you have no TV, what's the point of running? So I could see it. If you remove the emotion of it, I could see it. But, I mean, in my mind, and I can't speak for everyone else in the room, it was like, what are we going to do? There weren't really any shows that were running weekly. There was no NWA Southwest. There was XCW at the time, but I had never been there and had never really been approached about being there, so I didn't see that as an option. Austin, they ran not very often, or if they did, I mean, it was just like, do I go back there? I mean, well, Austin would be cool, but I was starting to see a girl, and she was living in town, and she was fixing to move to Fort Worth. But still, I was like, oh man, well, what do we do? I think we were all like, what do we do? And I know some of the guys left right then and there, like, screw it. And I don't blame them. We probably should have all just said, okay, man, well, you just let us know if you want to run again, and we'll see you later. I mean, I was still roommates with Thomas, but, I mean, this wasn't personal. I mean, I understood. I was shocked. And then someone, and I can't remember who, said, well, what would it take for us to run? And that kind of dawned on me too, like, what would it take? I mean, is money the payoff? Like, here's a great venue, they run weekly, I live down the street, I mean, most of us were local, I mean, if we continued to go, maybe we, I mean, none of us really wanted to leave. We had friends there. I mean, there were my buddy Adrian and Eddie and Wally and LaMotta and Fox and Jared and Canyon and Lance and everybody, Action Jacks. I mean, just the list of guys that were there, and plus your friends like Jamie and Dwayne and the Bussies themselves. I was cool with those guys, and so what can we do? Maybe take a pay cut. Not that hard. But I think it got brought up like, we'll work for free. Now, mind you, saying this, and the fact that someone said it and most of us agreed to it was a testament to what we all believed in. We believed in PCW. I mean, that was the reason I was in Arlington, was for PCW. That's why I left Austin, which was what my favorite city still is to a large degree. But still, it was like, man, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And then, that's when we all decided, Now, we probably should have said, we'll work for free until this date. We didn't do that. So we agreed to take this pay cut. We agreed to work for free. I don't think we really gave it a whole lot of thought, and truth be told, I don't know if we would have, I mean, you'd say in hindsight, yeah, we just leave until they're ready. Maybe they start running shows in a few months. But yeah, I think at that point we were just wanting it to continue. We wanted to continue the show, and so we said we would do it. Most of us did. A lot of us agreed to it. Didn't have to be unanimous. The ones that agreed. I know Fox was looking to take a break anyway because we were going to go into Fight Win Survive. He was the champion, so it wouldn't make sense for him to be part of this thing. But then he was like, well, maybe I'll just take a break and focus on his career, more power to him. And so we took a break. And in that break, I mean, I got probably one of the best opportunities for me. And potentially, back then I was like, potentially this could be a big deal. I got to work on, at the time it was called, an untitled Mike Judge film. Mike Judge, the creator of Beavis and Butthead. This would go on to become Idiocracy. Apparently, they were filming in Austin. The casting agent contacted CTPW because they were looking for people in town, and I don't know how they got a hold of CTPW or how CTPW got a hold of them. Anyway, kind of all worked out. They were looking for extras for a particular scene. They happened to see my picture, and I got contacted. I sent them some, they were like, send us some headshots. I didn't have any headshots, so I just took pictures with a camera and sent it to them. And I got a call back, and they said, we want you to play Jesus. Now, I don't know why they would want to call me that, or why they would cast me for that, but I apparently fit the look. I would be a Jesus wrestler. So getting on set, got there kind of early, got back to Austin, which was cool. Hair and makeup, kind of, put on a little makeup. They airbrushed my tattoos and then replaced them with decals because obviously it was going to be in the future where logos and companies were king. They gave me a brightly colored loincloth and a robe, and I had my wrestling boots on, and they put tape over them, over the laces and whatnot. Got to coordinate. I'll tell you what the scene was. Interior, cathedral. In a wrestling ring, at the altar, a steroided out guy in a Jesus wrestling outfit is doing an incredibly violent wrestling move on a guy in a devil outfit. The congregation goes nuts as the devil's manager grabs a folding chair and starts sneaking up on the victorious Jesus. Joe, played by Luke Wilson, backs away, freaked out. A banner ad reads, "When God gets hungry, he reaches for a man-witch." That was the breakdown. So yeah. Anyway, we filmed it. I worked with Jeremy Lopez. He played the devil. Really cool guy. Seen his work. Got to work with the stunt coordinator over the fighting. Kind of gave us some tips, film versus wrestling, so on and so forth. Did a top rope move, earned an extra couple of $100. It was the most money I'd ever made in a single day for a wrestling event. That was awesome, though. I got to play Jesus. Got to give someone the hand of God and take off the thorns and, Hulk up and whatnot. And, I kind of hoped when it came out, when Idiocracy came out, and I've never seen the DVD, but I know I'm in the credits. But, just crazy. Just crazy. It was awesome, though. Meeting Luke Wilson and Mike Judge and them liking what they saw. And then for it not to appear. But I was like, oh wow, that'd be a gimmick change, and who knows what could come out of it. I mean, it'd be the perfect excuse to play Jesus and wrestle and get people the hand of God. But anyway, I digress. Now, when I got back to Arlington, I ended up moving from the Reaver house. Good times, not a falling out. I just got an invite and was like, I'll go there. It was a great invite, but it was short-lived. Come November, I think I moved out in June, but come November I would be back in the Reaver. I'll cover that in another video. Anyway, so in June 12th, Fight Win Survive started. Now, we were back. We were going to do these shows, kind of see how it was. This new agreement, we just wanted the show to go on. And Fight Win Survive. And this would be different. It would be a team concept. And the goal of the team concept, the winners, the team would get all the gold that PCW currently had. Every belt was on the line. And then they would get something else like motorcycles or something like that. And I was actually told I would be the leader of Team Uncut. And Uncut at that point was a free show that ran Fridays before the Saturday TV taping. They were still a free show, I think, at that point. No, I take that back. I think they started charging fans like $5. But I was in a leadership role, Prior to that, I wouldn't even imagine myself as a leader, and now I'm leading a team of guys, and guys I didn't give much of a chance to as far as the group goes. Everybody else had kind of that superstar team, and I was the guy with all the guys who hadn't really been on the show a whole lot. Some had, but this gave me a good opportunity to be a leader and at the same time help elevate guys. And, again, I had to work with these guys because the ultimate goal was to win all the gold. Could you imagine? We could just name who's going to be champ and whatnot. So I tried to motivate as much as I could. And we get to the finals. Our team gets to the finals. We're that underdog team, and yet we get to the finals. And I think it's me, Mace, G-Slice, and LaMotta. I think it's 4 of us because it's like a 4-team group. And I think we got in through dodgeball, I want to say. It's all a little fuzzy. But, so we get to the finals. All's going well. And it's this like steel cage ladder match. It's this crazy concept. It's a unique concept. Just such a way to execute it. And if you get it, you win. And it looks like we're going to win. And G-Slice and LaMotta are on both sides of the ladder, and they're holding on to the ladder, and they're going, "Climb, buddy, climb!" And then they jump me, and they betray me, and the franchise wins. Team Bussy. I think the Bussies joined forces at that point, because I think they were on opposing teams at one point. But yeah, so the guys that I had helped bring up to the show, in essence, and got us to the finals, helped get us to the finals, they betrayed me and they joined the franchise. So coming out of that, we had new champions. The heavyweight champion was Eddie Atlas, my good friend, but part of the franchise, so we were enemies. TV champ is Canyon. The cruiserweight champ is BJ Turner. The tag team champions are the Professionals. The uncut champions, co-champions, are LaMotta and G-Slice. And the PCW Uncut Tag Team Champions are the Brown Brothers. So yeah. So we're in this new, come August, that's the landscape of PCW. But on September 11th, bittersweet for a lot of us in the country, but at that point, a milestone in my career. The second title in my Grand Slam championship thing would be the PCW TV title. And even though we didn't have television, being the TV champion, the television champion brought memories of like Tully Blanchard and Rob Van Dam. And being that guy, that secondary champion, I held it with such honor. And I beat Canyon for it. And it was awesome. Awesome to be that guy. And really in the storyline, now I'm the first babyface to get some revenge against the franchise and Thomas and Chris, this evil faction. So, which leads me to Sick and Twisted 2004. Eddie Atlas on the cover, but my chance for revenge. Me and Claudio had been a part of Team Uncut, and it really had gotten into a bit of an issue with Chris and Thomas, and get pretty banged up leading up to our match, and it was in doubt that she would be my partner, but she was going to be my partner, scheduled to be my partner against G-Slice and LaMotta. Now, I put out the video on YouTube, and it got like roughly 896 views, and I did it back in 07, like November 30th of 07. But at this time, I'd like to show you that match, uncut and in its entirety. Enjoy.
You know, that's actually the hubcap. This is supposed to be a tag team match. However, Steve DeMarco has come out by himself, and his tag team partner is supposed to be Claudia, but after the injury she suffered just a couple of weeks ago, getting squashed by Canyon in that Vader bomb, I'm not sure she's even going to show up.
I was backstage between the matches, and I didn't see her. I didn't see her anywhere.
Well, Steve DeMarco is the reigning television champion, having beaten Canyon.
Is this going to be a handicap match?
Well, it sure looks that way as LaMotta and G-Slice go right after DeMarco, dragging him down off the ropes and pounding on him already. The loser of the fall is fired from ECW, hence the name I call it the pink slip match. Oh, look out, come up there by DeMarco, and DeMarco putting JP out over the top rope and takes the legs out from under G-Slice. And now it's one-on-one in there. DeMarco's got him up in the power. It's a midget convention on the floor.
Yes, it is. Somewhere over the rainbow, G-Slice just landed on JT LaMotta.
Indeed, DeMarco sending him flying over that rainbow. Man, oh man. Sexy Steve DeMarco, he's got a real bone to pick with both of these guys. Uh-oh, look out, he's on the top rope.
Oh, this is going to be painful.
Oh, my! Wipes them both out. Steve DeMarco, he was the captain of Team Uncut during Fight, Win, Survive. He had LaMotta and G-Slice on his team. And in the steel cage match that decided everything in Fight, Win, Survive, these two guys turned against DeMarco. They pounded on him, hit him with a ladder or what have you. They also beat up on Claudia. And they ended up helping Thomas Bussey and the franchise win the match and get all the titles and the money and the motorcycles.
No. They tried to give them the motorcycles, but the motorcycles were too big, so they had to go to Toys R Us and get big wheels.
I understand they had to have training wheels put on.
Oh, yeah.
Reversal at the whip. And G-Slice ducking under a clothesline. On top of DeMarco. Well, nice hurricane run there by G-Slice.
Now, these two don't even get to ride the rides at Six Flags because they're too short.
They don't come quite up to the mark. As G-Slice tags in LaMotta now. And it's basically a handicap match. Claudia. Oh my gosh. Sandwich
sandwiched him with those feet. Oh, that's like getting two giant suckers. Oh, man, and now LaMotta on top, 1 and 2. And only a 2 count. The loser of the fall has to leave PCW. That doesn't mean the entire team has to leave. Let's say JT LaMotta gets pinned, and I'm sure a lot of people would like to see that. If LaMotta gets pinned, he has to leave. Now, of course, G-Slice would stay in that situation.
Oh, is that the situation?
That's how it was.
Because I was kind of hoping Davy'd have to go with him.
Well, indeed, yes, indeed. Davey Diamond on the outside. In their corner, 1, 2, and Steve DeMarco pushes his way out of that cover by JT LaMotta.
Has she ever said 2 words to you backstage?
No, she hasn't.
I got her to say 2 words to me earlier tonight. Go and away. That was about it.
And look at this again, double teaming on Steve DeMarco. G-Slice on top of the cover, 1, 2, and DeMarco powers his way out of that.
You know, these guys are so short, they look up to everybody. I mean, they're looking up to Jamie Aller. Come on.
And what a kick by G-Slice, putting DeMarco down on top with the cover, and only a 2 count once again. Steve DeMarco working his way out.
Did you see G-Slice's new medallion? He has a little hubcap with a spinner on it.
I saw his new bling, yes.
It's about 3 inches across, which means it's actually from his clown car.
And now G-Slice trying to set up DeMarco, but DeMarco turning the tables on him, giving him a high backdrop. And DeMarco basically fighting 1 on 2 here. Oh, taking him out with a clothesline, and now going after LaMotta as well, sending him crashing to the floor. Steve DeMarco really has it in for these 2 guys, and I wouldn't blame him one bit if he tried to obliterate both of them.
Every time you hear that word G-Slice, do you think Ronco, Topio, pocket fisherman, maybe a slicer, dicer,
2 a.m. infomercial. DeMarco on top of the cover, too, and LaMotta comes out and breaks it up.
Hi, do you have the need to julienne your fries at 3 a.m.? We'll get yourself a G-Slicer.
G-Slice coming off the ropes with a kick to DeMarco, and now neckbreaker on Sexy Steve, and it is G-Slice once again on top, and he is driving that shin into DeMarco's throat, but just momentarily DeMarco getting out.
He's starting to feel it too. G-Slice is getting a little froggy now.
And now a tag is made, and here comes JT LaMotta. They do have to follow tag team rules, but they're spending an awful lot of time in their double team. Oh, right across the back. Oh, gosh, right in the back of the head. Devastating kick there by G-Slice. LaMotta on top with the cover. Jamie Aller a little bit slow to get down there. Only a 2 count. Davey screaming at Jamie. And now
That's the only time a woman ever screams for Jamie.
reversal by DeMarco, and he's got LaMotta. Powerbombs him. Let's not turn him inside out.
Now, that's not true when I say that about Jamie. I heard a woman tell him to get out of the locker room the other day.
And DeMarco with a chop to the chest on another devastating chop. And that's going to turn LaMotta's chest red. DeMarco continuing to work on the man who was once his friend, once his partner in Team Uncut in Fight, Win, Survive. But everything's gone downhill since then.
And again, it was the money that made these 2 decide that their alliances were going to lie with the franchise.
Snap suplex by LaMotta. DeMarco trying to get to his feet, and LaMotta firing again, but DeMarco, he is to his feet, and he's talking some smack to LaMotta now. Look at this. DeMarco just standing there, and LaMotta might as well be running into a brick wall. Kicks the brick wall in the midsection, though. DeMarco with a reversal. Oh, look at this. Overhead belly to belly by Sexy Steve DeMarco. Oh. And dropping him face first on the knee, and a kick, not quite a sexy kick, but now a kick to the midsection of G-Slice as he comes in. It's DeMarco taking on 2 men here at Sick and Twisted Part 2. G-Slice coming down and snapping the neck. And now a German suplex by LaMotta.
These 2 work well as a machine, I will give them that.
Indeed they do. LaMotta with a leg hooked and only a 2 count. DeMarco getting the shoulder up once again. You got to wonder how many more of those he's got left in him. If DeMarco loses, he's gone, and we're going to be on the search for a new television champion.
And the one advantage that the 2 of them have is that if one of them starts to get a little winded, if one of them starts to get a little winded, he can always tag in his partner. Well, DeMarco doesn't have that luxury.
That's right, and looks like DeMarco's tuning up. He's going for that sexy kick, but look at this, Davey grabbing it by the neck. Oh, wait a minute, where's Claudia? Claudia is here, and she's going to go after Davey.
She's got her, too. she's still holding her ribs.
And look at this, Claudia is up on the ring apron, and she wants the tag from DeMarco. Big elbow from G-Slice.
She was not even in the building 20 minutes ago.
She must have just gotten here, Chris. She's not even dressed to wrestle, but there she is, and like you said, she's still holding on to her ribs, the ribs that were practically caved in by Canyon.
And she's begging for a tag.
G-Slice with a cover, and DeMarco powers out. Claudia wants to be tagged in. And look at this, DeMarco makes the miss, and now double Naga knocker, and G-Slice through the ropes to the floor, and DeMarco, sexy kick, LaMotta! Steve DeMarco gives J.J. LaMotta the sexy kick. Can he follow up on it?
Or does he tag out?
Can he follow up? Oh, wait a second.
Tag in.
Claudia's tagged in. And now Claudia on top of DeMarco. Look at this, still bombs away. Ducks under the clothesline. Here she comes, and big head scissors by Claudia.
She's on fire, Rob.
This girl doing a number, and Jesus LaMotta and a giant bulldog. And look at this, DeMarco and Claudia both in there now. Pounding away on Jesus LaMotta.
Never mess with a woman scorned.
Oh man, you got a woman mad, it's game over, pal. And look out. Double, oh my God.
Well, that took her head off.
G-Slice just put Claudia's lights out. Third down, man, a sexified. 1, 2, 3.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Jamie counted, but which one did he count?
DeMarco pinned G-Slice and JT had Claudia pinned. What the hell's going on, Rob?
There were 2 pinfalls here. So who wins and who is leaving? Who is Jamie Oliver counting? Jamie, who wins? Well, Claudia and DeMarco are in there. No, wait a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Well, Chris, now that I think of it, JT LaMotta and Claudia were the legal.
Do you know what that means, though?
Poor Claudia. Claudia's gone.
That means
folks.
Claudia's gone.
Claudia gets the pink slip from PCW.
She comes back for 28 seconds and she's gone already?
Oh my God. Well, Jamie Oliver made the only call he could. He remembered who the legal people in the ring. I keep wanting to say legal men in the ring, but one of them was Claudia. JT LaMotta pinning Claudia, and now Claudia's got to go, and look out who's out here. The fabulous Flying Bussy brothers. And bad things are going to happen. And now what's Thomas going to do? Thomas and Chris are both getting in the ring. Man, this is bad news.
Now you listen up. As me and my brother are sitting around hanging out today, I can only think of one thing better than firing Steve DeMarco. Yeah, because your ass is fired.
Oh, look at this! Claudia is pissed off, fans! Sexy kick by DeMarco on Thomas Bussy! The Bussies are both down! Yes! Yes! Yes!
Both Bussies are on the floor. You're right, they are the fabulous Flying Bussy brothers.
They're running the ropes right out the ropes. I'll tell you what, Claudia may be fired, but she and Sexy Steve DeMarco got the last word in on the Bussies and the franchise. And fans, we've got more action to come. The big title match, the PCW World Heavyweight title.
Yeah, well, you're carrying dead weight too, Munchkin.
All right, fans, World Heavyweight title action coming up.
Getting to work with G-Slice, LaMotta, and Claudia was a true pleasure. Wally and I are friends, LaMotta and I are friends, Claudia and I are friends, Claudia and I are really good friends, same thing with me and Wally, and same thing with me and LaMotta. I mean, really value their friendships. Claudia and I have been close, and I mean, she was in a tough spot being like the only female wrestler in a locker room full of guys, and she really always handled everything in stride. And getting to have her as a partner was awesome, because she was immensely over because of how unique she was to our roster. And I really respect her in-ring ability, and just her as a person. She's always so positive. And then Wally and LaMotta, man, I mean, in spite of the storyline, I have tons of respect for both guys and what they've become and what they've accomplished in the business. I mean, this was kind of at their infancy for the most part, and just to be able to be a part of something that really gave them an opportunity to showcase themselves, because it felt like that's what Sick and Twisted was. It was a good opportunity for us to showcase one another, and it's really one of my favorite matches. So awesome. So awesome. That was a good time, man. That was a good period for me, because it was definitely, I was on a hot streak. After winning the TV title, getting a chance to super kick my boss, which is always fun. I love kicking Thomas Bussey in the face, and I took great joy in doing that. And he took great joy in DDTing me and low blowing me and putting me out here and there. And we had our little interaction and whatnot. And that would be fun, because I enjoyed my time with Thomas and Chris, and it's just fun, man. We're friends, and here we are getting to go against one another. But I was a pretty good hot streak. I was beating guys. I was beating Dallas from TNA, and I was beating Chris Stevens, and beating G-Slice and Barnes and Chronic, and me and Axe Jackson teamed up and actually got a win over the tag team champions, but DQ'd. Which leads me to Heroes to Legends. Now, Heroes to Legends 2004. See the lineup? Yep, that's right. We're all there. Now, I also released this video, and this video is also another highlight in my career, because I have something in common with Macho Man Randy Savage. Yes, I have something in common. Not many people could say that, and I probably should wear that shirt because I have that shirt. Maybe that'll be the shirt I wear next time. But anyway, really what the similarity is, thing we have in common is that Gorgeous George actually valeted me and him. So, without further ado, alternate commentary. Enjoy. Heroes to Legends 2004. I'm getting to face my good friend Justin Tufine, and look who accompanies me to the ring, none other than Gorgeous George. Formerly Macho Man's valet. I mean, Macho Man's one of my idols, so getting the opportunity to have Gorgeous George, living up to her name, being truly gorgeous, was just one of my dreams come true. She was just so energetic, so with it, was just such a professional, like I said, so energetic. And unfortunately, I even cut this match a little bit. This match, actually, I uploaded on YouTube back in November 12th, 2007, and I got about 3,200 views, so I'm pretty proud of it. But there's a referee, Travis Trueborn, a good friend of mine. You got Chris Myers and Rob Moore doing commentary, Travis Baxter obviously doing ring announcing. And Justin was quite the character. He's a good friend of mine. I knew him from the NWA Southwest days, as well as EWF. We traveled the roads. I was a big fan of his work and BJ's work and the Instant Heat tag team gimmick. And speaking of gimmick, Gorgeous George would constantly refer to stuff as gimmick. Everything was a gimmick, so I just remember that conversation in the back. She was looking simply stunning that evening, and again, just really a true honor to have someone of her caliber walk me out. Definitely a feather in my cap, and to know that me and Macho Man have something in common. Not quite as much in common, but he was one of my idols, still is to this day. We opened the show, and in comparison to Sick and Twisted 2004, we had a rowdy section. I think we're really regaining our momentum after having been away for a little bit. A few months had passed since we had lost television. And we had a really good crowd that night, and they were really loud and very much with me, and I had the luxury of being the first match. Now, initially being told I was going to be the opening match kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. I felt like I had probably gotten past that point, but getting to work Justin, again, a really good friend of mine, I had really no problem. And I was really hyped to be a part of this match. My television title's on the line. Awesome drop kick by me. But this card featured, a legend ceremony. Again, it was Heroes to Legends, and I was trying to get to legendary status at that point, having already become a hero to PCW. So now I wanted to get into legendary status. But it featured the Skandar Akbar receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award. It had Brett Anthony facing BJ Turner for the Cruiserweight title. It had a grudge match. Hot Stuff Hernandez had recently debuted here, and he was actually on the show. He's facing Apocalypse. You had Claudia, who had came back, and I can't quite remember how she was able to come back. She was facing a relative newcomer in Emily Zapruder. You had G-Slice, my former friend and now foe. He was taking on Arkansas Dave Rudabaugh in a Bling versus Mask match. You had John Allen versus Action Jackson in a Weapons of Mass Destruction match. And then for the PCW title, the main event of the show, you had Eddie Atlas, who was the champion, against a returning Mike Fox. And I think that match ended in pretty big controversy, which would lead up to Triple Xmas 2004. Wow, Justin taking that guardrail. Such a great talent. Like I said, really enjoyed his antics, but the guy really had some amazing hops and really could go out there. And as this match progresses, again, the antics is one thing. He loved to play mind games. I think he really enjoyed the character and whatnot. This is a guy who's married, got kids and whatnot. But at that point, married and just having a good old time. And again, just to be able to wrestle a friend of mine, made the disappointment of opening the show, because back then, again, I felt like I was at a main event level. I kind of took it as being slighted, but again, getting to work him kind of helped me out. And those punches, man, they were snug, they were crisp, they were in there. Again, he just had these antics. Any chance he had to kind of go over the line, he would. He knew he would with me. He was constantly messing with Travis. That was something we had discussed. It'd play a part in the match later on. But throughout it, from before the bell even rang, he was definitely messing with Travis. I'm sure Travis, enjoyed it somewhat. I'm sure it kind of got on his nerves to a degree. So, but again, we had a really good crowd. Definitely in comparison to Sick and Twisted, which was a couple of months prior, we're definitely gaining some momentum, and that was a really positive sign for a lot of us. I think we felt like we were moving in the right direction. We were hoping like things were going to start kind of paying off for us, but here you go, Justin, just really kind of putting it to him, and here I come trying to make my comeback, getting a little fire, but and look at George, man. I got to give her credit. She was into it from the word jump. From the entrance on, her energy level, and she was really trying to get the people into it. I probably wish I had put her more into the match, probably included her. But, being a babyface, it's kind of difficult to get valets involved because, again, you're supposed to kind of adhere to the rules. And I'm sure had I been thinking like what we could do, but bringing her in was kind of a last minute thing. So it was more of a, just try to enjoy the fact that she was there. And look at Justin, man, just like no fear. Beautiful move. Such a beautiful move. They had to replay it. I think he took the brunt of it. I took some of that, but he definitely took the most of it. And the crowd's really into it. I mean, if you watch the video on YouTube, they're really chanting for me, and that's a great feeling as a babyface and, you know, a fighting champion and whatnot. And, you know, Justin, I mean, again, this is a TV title match, so I'm sure he wanted the title just as much as I wanted to keep it. And, I mean, again, anytime he could overstep, he had a very unique name for that move. He called it the Ramrod. We just won't go there. That was actually Justin Too Fine's boa that George was wearing. So, and it looks like Justin's got me on the ropes, got me down. Looks like he's going to get me. Got a little energy left. But he counters my counter. And then he had another, this was his finisher, the Too Fine 6'9", as he would call it. And I kicked out. But, and he's not liking it. I mean, again, the ref, you know, maybe he's like, hey, man, I've been messing with you. You probably should have been DQ'd already. But Travis wasn't going to let it happen. You know, kind of go back and forth. I think this was, you know, kind of our call at that point to involve the ref as much as we did. I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I mean, the ref got his in the end, and I mean, the crowd enjoyed the match, and I mean, a good opener, and I get the win and get to retain and get my name called, and I got Gorgeous George lifting my hand in victory. I mean, you can't ask for it. I mean, that is a highlight of my career. I'll honestly admit, getting valeted. I mean, I'm not even worried about the title at this point. I am just happy that I got the win, retained, and got Gorgeous George on my side. And now, look at this. He's not too happy about... Wait, hold on. Here we go. Sexified for your trouble, buddy. Sorry, friend. Oh, wait. And then Dallas has to ruin my celebration. This guy. He's coming in. So, yes, another glorious, epic edition of the Chronicling. And on the next Chronicles, man, special time. Triple Xmas 2004, probably the crowning achievement of my PCW career, and quite the eventful evening, and everything that leads up to it, and including some behind-the-scenes stuff. I'll probably talk about the reality wrestling, the first episode. Probably talk about that, and give you a little more updates and whatnot. So if you have any questions, always feel free to ask me. I have time to answer them. Don't worry. And if, again, fans, just keep doing it, because they're now listening. But until the next time, as I always like to end these, stay cool, stay sexy, stay classy. But until the next time, later.